Hi there, it's Jeff. Welcome to those that are new to my channel and those that subscribe. In this video today I just want to show you how easy it is to make simple mitred boxes. Now, using solid timber or manufactured boards, it's the same process. The end result is a nice, clean, crisp, sharp 90-degree joint on all four corners. And it's quite a unique process to put together. It's actually fun to make. You could use these boxes for storage or even making drawers. There's a ton of uses for them. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is to make. So keep watching and I'll show you the tips and tricks that I use to make up these boxes using mitered joints. Okay, to start off with here, I've got my piece of timber that I'm going to be using for this little box, and I'm using American oak, and I've machined it to thickness. It's around about 3/8 or 10 millimeters. I've machined it to width, and now I just need to dock it to the length of the little box that I want to make, which is going to be around about 6 inches by 6 inches or 150 mil by 150 mil in the metric terms. So it's just a little square box, and we're going to take it over. I'm going to take it over to my table saw and cut the miters on that. I'm going to show you how to do it on a table saw. You can do this also on your drop saw, sliding compound saw, chop saw for those in America. And the key to this though, whatever you use, is to make sure that you cut your miters, making sure that they are nice and square. If your miters are a little bit off, even by 1 or 2 degrees, when you go to glue this all together, you take it out, it's going to be, it may not even sit flat or level on your surface or your table. It just needs to be nice and square, so they all wrap around nice and neat, and all your joints at the top and the bottom come nice and flush. So let's go over to the table saw. We'll set that up at 45 degrees, the blade, and we'll start cutting these miter cuts. And then I'm going to machine a little rebate on one end to accommodate for my bottom, which will sit on the inside so you won't see it. We'll do that last. Okay, just going to explain what I'm doing here before I cut these miters. I've set my fence to a little bit oversized because I'm doing these at 150. I've allowed about 5-10 millimeters extra. Make my first cut, and then I'm going to do my second pass. Now, because my blade on this table saw tilts to the left, I can't use my sliding crosscut sled, so I'm going to use my fence, and I can do this and I know I'm going to get accurate cuts because my fence has been set up nice and square, and it's parallel to my blade. So that's one of the most important things here when you are using your fence, that it runs and it cuts parallel to your saw blade. You can use your sliding T-bar fence that you get with your saw instead of this fence if you feel more comfortable doing it that way. But just in case you're wondering why I'm doing it like this, it's because my blade goes to the left. I can't use my sliding crosscut fence, and I feel safe and confident using my fence. And because I've got a fair distance here to keep my hand on the material, it's safe to do so. But if it was something narrow, it does get a little bit dangerous, so just keep that in mind. So I'm going to cut these miters to size now, allowing a little bit extra for the first cut, and then bringing that measurement right into 150 millimeters or 6 inches for the second pass. I've adjusted my fence now. I'm about to do the final pass to get my exact size of 150 or 6 inches there for all of my sides. And as I pass this through the blade, I'm also just using a bit of scrap piece of timber behind here, especially at the back here, so just to prevent a little bit of breakout. I noticed on one of them it was just a real ever slight bit of breakout there, so I'm going to start using a bit of block here on the other ones, and we'll finish these cuts off nice and neatly. Okay, I've got all my pieces now nicely cut with the miters, and they're all to the same size. This is going to be a square, 150 each side, and they're all nice and tidy and cut nice and square. Like I said, you want to make sure that your miters are cut nice and square to your ends. So if you can see that, then it's pretty good. And the other way you can tell as well is get yourself a straight edge, like a level here, and this is going to be part of the sequence of putting this box together. When you do have miters or making a miter box, is putting them all up against the straight edge, and you're going to put them all together so they form the V, and if you see that, they will come together. You can see when you put these two together, or anywhere, so that forms a valley, you'll see, and I've got this showing you on a piece of blackboard on purpose, but you shouldn't see any gap. They should close up nice without any gap. That's where you can tell that it's nice and square. You know that this is going to fold and go together nicely. Okay, one last thing to do, a little bit of extra machining. I'm just going to machine a little rebate here just at the bottom to accommodate another piece of timber recessed for the bottom that we'll glue up. But it's a lot easier obviously to do it now before we fold and glue this box together. So I'm just going to machine that little rebate to accommodate for my bottom. Then these pieces are ready. Okay, I'm really happy with the way that these are machined up. It came really nice and neat and tidy. With that rebate, that's just going to make life a lot easier when you want to put your base on after this is glued up. Only one more thing to do before I show you how I'm going to glue and put this box together, and that is to give these pieces a coat of lacquer. I'm just going to use some satin. Okay, 24 hours later, I've got my pieces all dry now from the satin clear coat that I've put on it. And it is a good idea when you're making little boxes like this to give them a coat before you assemble it. But one thing to note is that I did mask up all the mitered the edges that are going to be glued up. That way the glue will stick to the raw timber. If you try to glue over the satin clear coat, it just won't stick properly. So I marked up all these in preparation, gave them a quick spray, and they came out really nice and clean. So now the next step is I'm going to show you how, or the easiest way and the best way to glue a little box up like this with these mitres. And you probably guessed it, I'm using the same setup that I showed you earlier when I was showing you how to make sure that these are nice and the edges are nice and square. Just got a bit of board here, and I've got a straight edge clamped up. Just keep it nice and still. And what I'm going to do is turn these pieces so they're face out. The inside of my box is going to be facing down. Just making sure that they're all facing the same way as well. So in my case, the rebate is going to be facing towards my straight edge. And I'm just going to line them all up next to each other, like so. And by having the straight edge, you'll ensure that they're going to, your edges are going to be nice and flush when you do fold it together and you have the top of your box. It's going to have nice flush corners on those mitres. So keeping that up against there, making sure that all the joints just touch each other. And the next thing to do is to get some masking tape and just putting some over each joint. Okay, once I've got all the tape on all that top edges, I've just prepared a little bit on the far side there. I'm just going to flip it around carefully. Okay, that's fine. And now the next stage is to apply some PVA glue in all the joints, and then we're just going to fold this up. Okay, so now we're just going to fold this up. For the last one, I'm just going to keep it flat on the surface, eye the mitre joint, and then pull my tape over. Okay, so it's all taped up now, nice into position. If you did have some of these aluminium clamping brackets, you could use them, but mine are a little bit big. Ideally, they'd be nice if they fit inside the box, but my ones are a little bit too big, and I won't probably put them on the outside. It's just probably a little bit overkill. I have checked it for square. It is reasonably square. It actually came pretty good. Another way of checking obviously, is to do diagonally from corner to corner. And in my measurements here is around about 212. 212, so it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. But you could use some clamps overnight. Another method that you could do as well, seeing this is only a small sort of a box, if you had like some large elastic bands, you could put them around just to keep it nice and tight as well while the glue dries. The only thing I'm going to do now, while this is going to be left probably a day or so to dry, is I'll start preparing the base. And I'm going to be using the same thickness material, and I've rebaited that to suit. So I could probably take my measurements now, the internal measurements here. I'll prepare that base, may probably even spray it again. So then when this finishes, or actually I could probably actually even do it now while it's in position, it'll keep it square as well, is to make that base. But I need to probably prepare it, spray it, and then glue it in. So that's probably my next step, and I'll see you on the other side. $140. Well, there it is, the box all finished. Very happy with the results, and as you can see, it's just quite a simple process of making these mitered boxes. The process is the same whether you're using solid timber like I was, or if you're using manufactured boards, plywood, same deal. There's a ton of uses that you could fold up and make these boxes for storage or for drawers, all sorts of things. So I just want to show you the process that I use to make these. And my pro tip here is if you are making some storage boxes like this, or even drawers for inside your house, I recommend that you clear your and prepare your surfaces before gluing and putting them together. Number one, it's easy to clean, and number two, you're going to get a neater finish on the inside of your box, and so that's really important, especially if you're making decorative drawers or high-end drawers for your furniture inside. If you try to spray it, anybody knows that's tried to spray like inside the box, it's difficult, or even paint. Not going to come as neat and tidy as brushing it when it's a flat surface. You won't get any runs, for example. It's just easy to coat. So that's my pro tip here when you are doing these sort of things and you're going to coat them before you put it together. But yeah, very happy with this, the way this turned out. This is going in the bathroom just to put a few things inside there, so it was a good idea to seal it. Came nice and tidy underneath as well. But yeah, that's my process for making these mitered boxes. Well, that just wraps up this video for today, and I hope you enjoyed it or got something out of it or inspired you to make some boxes yourself. If you did like it, press like. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe so you keep up to date with all the other videos that I bring out from time to time, and hopefully I'll see you in one of my next videos.